So today I'm going to show you how to create an e-news within Constant Contact. So once you log in, you're going to see this screen. This is the dashboard. And what you'll see here on the left are different campaigns. If you see a calendar next to a campaign, that means it's an event. It means it's not an e-news. These are landing pages for people to register for different events being held at the center. If it looks like this is an e-news. The preview is on the left, the title is here, and you can see some data about it here. So in this first dashboard, I see a few events, and I see several e-news. If you want to find more from the past, you can always click on View All Campaigns as well. So to create a new e-news, I typically go and find an old one whose format matches the new one I want to create. Especially if I'm creating a new e-news that's going to have some of the same content of an old e-news. Perhaps an event was featured on an old e-news and now it's coming up even closer. So you want to keep that same content. I'd certainly want to copy that e-news so that the content could just stay the same. So for instance, this one I can see, I know it has meditation for beginners. I want to create a new e-news about the Tara retreat. So I want to copy this one so I can actually hold on to this data here. So I'm going to go over here and click on More and click on Copy. Now I'm going to name the e-news. No one else sees this but the people that can see the back end, so no worries what you call it, just make sure it's recognizable. Okay, so now I have this old e-news editor in the old e-news, and I'm just going to make it new to what I want. So I start up here first with the subject header. Title it 24-Hour Tara Retreat. So now I have a new subject. This doesn't need to change at all. Now I'm going to go down into my editor and start to change things to what I want for this current e-news. So this first subject line I typically change to reflect the subject header. So I'm going to type in 24-Hour Tara Retreat, and I'm going to add some more text to this. There's more space. Notice how I started typing within the text that I had there before. Just an easy way to keep the formatting so I don't have to go here and redo it all. And I can just erase it, and the formatting is all going to be saved there for me. Okay. And you know that seems a little small. I can increase the size here. It's at 18 now. Maybe I'll increase it to 20. Wanting to stay in the same line. It looks pretty good there. Alright, so now I have that little header done. I want to go into the actual content. So the way we lay out content, so at least for right now, is we're using these little bars to divide the content. So you'll see usually we have a big image, and then the information about the event, and then a call to action button. And this usually says click for info or click for registration. So the same thing down here. So what I want to do is this first block, I want this e-news to feature the Tara retreat. So I need to edit this first block to reflect that. Okay. So I'm going to start with here with the image. I'm just going to replace this. If you ever wanted to add a new image in, you didn't have a block here to replace, you can drag things from here, like this, and it gives you a place to put in a new image. So likewise, same thing for text. If I want to drag a text box like this over, I can use this. If I want to do a button, I can take this one. A divider, which is like this line right here, is here. Then a spacer looks like this. You can adjust the space if you want to gain a little space between things, you can use that. The nice thing about copying an old e-news is it eliminates you having to do a lot of that because you've already got some content that you can just replace. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to replace this image. It takes me into my image gallery. The Tara banner I have not uploaded yet, so I'm going to upload a file. And then browse your computer to upload. Here's the 24-hour Tara retreat banner. I'm just going to grab that. And I'm clicking on Upload Files. It's going to upload that banner into Constant Contact. So there it is. So now if I click on Insert now, it's going to put it right into the e-news. But I can edit it if I want to. So I might decide, okay, this is a little bit tall for the e-news. Plus, I don't really need this information because it's going to be in the text box that I use. So maybe to make it, and plus it'll probably be pretty small in the e-news. So I'm going to edit it a little bit. I'm going to keep the width because it's a nice width for the e-news. And the banners typically are a nice width. I'm just going to crop it. And I'm just going to draw it up to here. And apply. That's usually the only edit that I use is the crop. And then click Save. Now I can click Insert. And now that old image is replaced by the new image. You can resize the image right in the e-news itself. I usually draw the images right to the edge. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to edit some of this. And usually do it in the same way. You know, if I go and type something new, I'm going to have to go in and change the font and the size and the color. I want to keep it basically the same, so I'm going to start typing within the old text. And then delete whatever's not relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and edit some more of this now. So I've gone ahead and pulled up the website here, and so I want to make sure I have my information correct to add to here. A couple of ways you can do that. Number one, probably the easiest is to go on the actual event page and pull it right from there. So here it is under Special Events. I've got my information right here. Now for the e-news purposes, I don't want to take all this information because it bogs down the e-news with too much text. You're going to be directed here anyway when they click on the button, so we kind of keep things pretty simple. So what I typically do is I'll just take some of the information that isn't really detail based, and I might just pull this and Control Copy, Control C, and then I go in here and I'll just scroll over here and I'll paste it and Control V as well. So what it typically does is it formats it in this way, which is not really what we need. So I'll usually highlight the whole thing and I'll change it to the font we use, which is Trebuchet. And then I use this button to left justify it. We've been using 14. So I change it to 14. And then I unbold it. And usually that's pretty much correct for the font we're using. So now I'll go in and change some of these other pieces. I'll delete this. I'll keep the formatting the same, so it's going to be, I want to take this and put it here. So I might just type in here, begins Friday afternoon, July 20th. I'm going to format it a little bit. So that looks pretty good. This I don't need. Clean it up a little bit. Okay, so now I've got my title, I've got my information about when the event is. Sort of make sure it matches this down here, right? Oh, I noticed down here it says at Odiana KBC, so I'm going to add that in here too. Always nice to keep things uniform in terms of formatting. Good. So now that's all correct. Now the button down here I want to change. So I can easily change the text in here. Sometimes we might want to say, click here to register, click here for more info. I'm going to keep it the same thing. We can always change what's written in there by just basically clicking inside the button. What I do want to do, of course, is change the link. So this goes to the Tara page. So to do that, I'm going to click on this link, and I'm going to click on Edit. I'm going to go into Tara Retreat, copy a link here. I'm going to paste it in here. And insert. Okay. So now I've created this new event block for the Tara Retreat. That looks really good. I'm going to keep this old event block because this event has not happened yet, and it's still relevant. So I'm going to keep that. Again, if I wanted to add a third block in, typically we don't add more than 2 blocks, but we sometimes do. We can just start dragging things in, or it's even more effective is if we just copy this whole block. So if I wanted to add a third event, what I would do is I would start by maybe copying the banner here. And what you do is you scroll over it, and you just click this little gear and this little copy icon, and there you go. Now to move that down, I just click on this little drag icon. I can drag it right down to where I want it. And this gets a little bit hairy. I have to say I don't really love the way things drag in this program, but you can make it work. I'm going to copy this one. And again, I'm going to drag it down. Copy the button. Drag that down. And copy the bar. This is just a nice way to make sure you're keeping your formatting consistent, and it ends up saving work in the long run. So now I have a new event copied there. Looks good. Now I can edit this stuff to make whatever new event I want to add in. To delete, I can just simply go in and click on the, scroll over it, click on the gear, click on the trash can, and the stuff goes away. So typically, the program will autosave. You can see it's saved, so it's auto-saving as you go. So now I'm pretty much finished with what I want here. So the first step I can do is preview my eNews. So I click on preview. It's going to pop open this preview window and show me what my eNews is going to look like to people who receive it. So I can scroll down, I can spell check everything, of course, that's important. Look at the formatting, does it look nice? Of course, test all my links before sending it out is key. That one works well. Let's even scroll down and check other links. That one's working. So that looks good. I can also send a test eNews if I want to myself or someone else to make, if I really want to double check it, but it's not always necessary to do. I don't usually do that. So once I like that, I can click send now, but I typically like to schedule my eNews ahead of time and schedule it for a day in the future. So I'm going to X this out. Then I'm going to click on continue. If I like what I've seen, if I don't, I can go back and edit. So once I click on that, I'm going to go in and select which groups it's going to go to. If I click select all, it'll go to the entire eNews list. If I select something else, it'll go to a section. I can send it now or schedule for